I was raised by my mom and my dad. My dad was very abusive, he was into drugs and alcohol and very abusive to my mother, and I can remember little snippets of it, growing up, of him like throwing things at her. They divorced when I was 4 years old. My mom remarried to my stepdad, whom I call my father. He's been there for me forever, and he helped me get through what I witnessed when I was young. My mom passed away when I was 15 years old of a brain tumor. She died unexpectedly, and it just kind of threw the family in shambles. It was just a really tough time to get through, and I asked God a lot of questions, and I don't know if I should have, but I was like, why did this happen? She was 35 years old when she passed away. I was 15, my brother was 13, Jenna, my little sister, was 5, and it just hit the family pretty hard. I decided to apply to a local college to be able to stay home and help my dad raise my sister, because she was about 8 years old at the time. During that time, I decided to start dating a guy that I went to high school with. He decided that he wanted to pursue a degree in professional golf management. So I decided to make the trip down to North Carolina. We got engaged while we were down there, and he wasn't really the right kind of guy that I should have been with. When I got to Campbell, I had met a group of girls at my first day at orientation, and they're like, hey, we're gonna start a Bible study on Thursdays. Would you be interested in going? I decided to start going, and it was an amazing experience for me. We all kind of shared our testimonies that night, and it made me feel like I had a place to go. It kind of made me realize what a crumb my boyfriend, our fiance at the time, was, and finally got the nerve to break up with him. God was there for me because he brought me to my husband now, Brian. After we were introduced to each other, I was like, this guy's kind of cute, I was still hesitant about being with someone because I was treated so poorly before in the past relationship. When I saw how Brian treated me, it was completely different. I knew he wasn't a crumb, and we had a very in-depth conversation about how important it was to have the relationship with God first before you started our relationship. We dated 9 months, and we decided to get married. It was about a year later, and we got married on a cruise ship. I didn't want a big wedding, so there were 27 people on the cruise ship with us. It was really funny, though, to be on your honeymoon with 27 members of your family. We were married when we were 23 years old. Both of us were 23.
As we grew and we were dating, we had conversations about what we expected in life as far as short-term goals, long-term goals, just like I think any couple would. When you get out of college, you get your degree, that the world's going to roll out a red carpet for you. You're going to have an office job, you'll wear a necktie, your wife will cook dinner, and your kids will come running out when you pull in the driveway, as I guess we found out, and it doesn't always work that way.
When I was just getting ready to turn 26, it was like a week before my 26th birthday, I found out that I had breast cancer.
We thought, breast cancer, this is common. It's got to be early because, you feel great, you're active, you're just going to have some surgery, you're going to do a little chemo. This is
typical.
Breast cancer is not that unheard of. Lots of women go through this, we'll be fine. About a week later, we met with a specialist who had a hard time breaking the news to us that it was stage 4. The doctor just looked at us, we were there just together in his office, and he says,
I don't know what to do with her. We basically walked out of the doctor's appointment in tears, asking God, what are we supposed to do? I was asking, why a lot. Why me? Why is this happening? Everything's going so great. My life is in turmoil now. I questioned God, and I was angry. I was very angry. Lord, I've been through so much. I don't have the drive to get through something like this. I was devastated. I thought my whole life was over. I thought, what am I supposed to do with myself? Like, here I am living like a picture perfect life, and here I am now facing something that is devastating to me. I just laid on the bed in the fetal position, bawling my eyes out, asking God, what am I supposed to do?
As a husband, you feel like if there's ever an issue with your kids or your wife or whatever, that you can just step in and fix it somehow. You want to be strong knowing that she's devastated. So for me, I went through a series of emotions. It was like rapid fire, extreme sadness to anger. All these questions just cloud your mind. What does this mean? What does this mean for me, her, our future?
My family had been through a lot of tough things in their life with my mom's death and other deaths in the family. I really, and this is bad of me, but I didn't tell them the full extent of my cancer. I didn't tell them that I had stage 4 cancer at first. And I did it, not that I was embarrassed that I had it, but because I didn't want them to think that something bad was going to happen again to someone else in the family. And I wanted to be strong for them. And it was really hard for me to not tell them at first, but I felt like I was doing them a favor by not knowing the full extent of it.
The doctor graduated from Duke though, and he knew a lot of specialists down at Duke. He immediately set us up with one of the premier doctors in the country. We just made the decision that we were going to seek out the best medical care that we could.
They told me that the doctor said I could get on a clinical trial, and the clinical trial required me to have my ovaries removed. I basically kind of caved almost. Felt like I lost myself. So about 8 months after I was diagnosed, they had found in a scan that my cancer had spread to behind my eye and to parts of not my brain, but to my skull.
And the doctor had ordered 3 weeks of radiation to her head. So immediately we began to worry about the logistics involved, because previously we had just been driving to Durham once a week for a treatment, and then we would go home. We had decided earlier on, like I said, that we were going to seek out the best medical care we could, and we were going to do whatever they asked us to do. That decision was being tested.
Oh, definitely.
So we decided, okay, we're going to go to Duke, we're going to get this radiation. Just trust God that He's going to provide a way. A gentleman whom I've still never met to this day owned a house in the Durham area, but was living in Houston, offered up his house for us to stay in. It was furnished. She stopped working. I quit my job. We moved down to Durham to get these daily bouts of radiation. And then I received a call from some networking I had done with my reserve unit from a consulting firm offering me a job in Louisiana. Despite what may happen to us, we still have bills to pay. We still need health insurance. So I decided we're going to take the job. When I hit Atlanta, Georgia on my drive down, I get a call from my readiness NCO at my reserve unit who says, you're being activated for deployment to Afghanistan. You're to report in to Staunton, Virginia in 2 weeks with your gear. The night before I'm supposed to leave to go report in, I get a call from my mom who's taken my wife to her treatment at Duke Hospital, and she says, you need to be here immediately. She's down to 80-some pounds. She's on oxygen, and the doctor believes that she's got pneumonia, and we're not sure she's going to make it through the night. I go ahead and throw everything in the car, drive straight to Durham. It got to the point where she couldn't even walk.
The chaplain came up and read me my last rites, telling me they didn't think that I was going to make it through that. I realized that I was at the bottom, that I had hit the bottom. I just laid there, and they pumped me with fluid, and we're telling me, hey, you gotta gain some weight here.
That's when we told her family. I just kind of made that decision because she wasn't in the frame of mind to even consider.
I hit that bottom and I was like, okay, God, here I am. I'm trusting. I trusted. I gave him my whole, I was like, God, just please help me get through this. Day by day, I would get more and more strength. When I finally got off the oxygen and everything, I felt like I had peace. God's got me from this state to this state, and now here I am. That very moment, I'm like, I'm not alone. I'm not fighting this alone. Ever since then, I'm not scared of the cancer that I had. God will heal me one day.
God's taught me through all of this humility, for one, just because I'd always just wanted to be able to provide for myself and my family and do everything on my own. When you're going through something like stage 4 cancer or any significant devastating event in life, you really learn to rely on other people. Whether it's getting to and from doctor's appointments or just prayer, whatever it is your needs, you really need to be plugged into a community of people that's really going to stand beside you. The cancer has enabled us to become a part of other people's lives whom we would have never been able to connect with before.
The biggest thing God's taught me is peace. He's there for me no matter what. In the beginning I was like, where are you, God? Where are you? Where are you? But he's always on time with everything that I've went through. He's been there for me. And I can look back through my crazy life and see where he's touched me every time. Having that house available for us while I was receiving radiation, offering this treatment to me that has been working on me for over 2.5 years. I know the doctors like to say, hey, I'm helping you get through this, but God is working through the doctors to help heal me. He's helped me realize that I can impact younger girls. He's shown me that I have this story that other people are going to be like, wow, God is amazing. I just feel like God wants me to just break out and let everyone know, hey, God is real. He's here. He's true. He will help you get through whatever you need to get through. God's not done with us. He loves us.